very purpose of our life is happiness.
Ever since these Tibetans fled their homeland at the threat of the communist Chinese in 1959, their leader, the Dalai Lama, has been traveling the globe with a trite greeting card philosophy and a warm smile, desperately trying to enlist help in his quest to free Tibet and return to power.
I believe, you see, every human being have the potential to develop compassion.
This idea that he's a humble spiritual man with just a robe and a bowl and a prayer bead isn't really what the Dalai Lama is all about. I'm Michael Parenti, a political writer, author, and noted after-dinner raconteur. He headed a social system that was exploitative, terribly unequal, and terribly brutal.
Tibet was Shangri-La, that is, if you were the Dalai Lama. No wonder he wants it back. He had a palace and a pile of servants. The rest of the Tibetans lived in huts and ate roast barley meal and yak butter tea.
You had a privileged priest class living in utter luxury and opulence, and you had a mass of serfs living in utter misery.
And if you broke the law, then torture and mutilation, including eye gouging, the pulling out of tongues, and even disemboweling were reportedly common punishments. As this State Department internal memo reveals, the Dalai Lama at one time took $180,000 a year from the CIA for his living expenses, and $1.5 million a year from the spy agency to finance Tibetan guerrilla operations against the Chinese, which included running a covert guerrilla training center in Colorado. Maybe they were non-violent covert guerrillas.
Violence and telling lies, cheating, these, I believe, basically against human nature.
To be fair, the robed one isn't taking money from the CIA any longer. Once people found out, it became a bit of a PR problem. So what would happen if the Dalai Lama returned to power in Tibet?
If he had his way, he would want the Chinese out. He would bring the Lama class back. It would be ruled by monasteries. The aristocrats of the exiled community would all go back with him. And it would be like old Tibet, with maybe a few reforms.